where each week we get up inside you, your beliefs, your business, analyzing issues affecting Barbados and the world today. I'm your host, Chad, and with me is the beautiful Jeanette.
Woo-hoo.
We are missing Kita. Kita is gonna hop in very soon.
Very
So
soon.
yeah, just bear with us for the time being. You know how
Miss
it goes
already.
sometimes. But this time around, what are we gonna be speaking on tonight, Janelle?
Hello. Well, after last week and what we were discussing, it really hit home that society is changing and not for the good. So we do have what people could call social degradation in society and social deterioration, however
Uh-huh.
you want to look at that. So I guess we're gonna pick it apart. What social degradation is? Oh my
Hmm.
word!
Uh-huh. It's
Gonna
going.
be a long day, guys. I guess we're gonna pick it apart and look at the causes. Give some examples of what we're seeing in society, and then how we can remedy it. Because up inside there is all about seeing how we can solve the issues.
Right.
And then this discussion could lead and segue into so many other things that may not be seen as degradation in society, but can be seen as an issue. And I do want to discuss some of those things that are good that people in society might not see as being good.
Okay, I remember specifically you stating from the adolescent point of view, the children and so on. That is a very interesting topic, and I know
Mm-hmm.
it can take up majority of the show, if not all of the show, because
Definitely.
we would all have different points of views, different belief systems, as to the reason why that there's so much social degradation.
Yeah.
But I want us to jump right into it. Yeah, my boy
Right.
Keita knows big up yourself,
Yeah, good
Keita.
night, good night, good night,
Good
good
Um,
night.
night. Good night.
yeah, yeah,
Woo!
yeah, Keita, just to catch you up, we were now about to start the
Yes.
conversation about
Sorry to
social
be late, man.
degradation.
Sorry to be
Yeah,
late. Sorry
yeah,
to be
don't worry
late.
about that.
I
You.
Your
know
arrival
being from
life, that's
work.
what's
I
important.
know
Your
being
arrival
from
life,
work, man. So you know, hey,
Listen
life,
though,
arrival
but you
life.
see that we are powered by
Allery?
yes, and I can see on our icons on the YouTube. I was seeing myself there just now. I feel like she's on in a video game. I feel so excited about this.
Mhm.
I love being a part of Inside There and definitely being powered by Allery Media Productions. Love
for
it.
sure, for sure, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. Right, Keita. So as I was catching you up, basically we were now to go into social degradation. And you remember Janelle specifically brought to us the conversation about children, and the fact that there's so much around the adolescent point of view when it comes to the social degradation because when they grow up, they become the new society. So you gotta start from the home drums and
Yeah.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to get right into it because I know that that portion could take up majority, if not all, of the conversation.
Yeah.
Um, what do you feel? Since Kita was late for class, we can put Kita on the hot
Oh, you
No,
could
spot.
do that.
no. How
That's
you
what
Oh,
could
you
you
do
could
get.
do
that, you know,
That's
that.
what
Rod?
you get. That's
How
what
you
you
could do
get.
that? How you could do that? So I rather
Right?
Janelle go first, man. I rather
You
Janelle
feel
go.
so?
Yeah,
Wait, wait. Who's the teacher in here? Me or you?
You getting school, Kita.
Oh, good.
You getting
So
school.
talk to me. Talk to me. Tell me what you think that the adolescent, because we seeing a lot of younger and younger men getting involved in gang related situations, gun violence, stabbing incidents. I even heard of a stabbing incident where a youngster died. I can't remember which Caribbean country, but it was a school situation. I think it could have been the Bahamas or something. I really don't want misquote, but a youngster no older than 15 years old was ganged up with another friend of his on two youngsters. One ended up dead, and the other one ended up in critical condition.
Crazy.
And he fighting for his life. Oh no, I didn't hear anything today about any updates if the
More.
youngster lived or if he passed away. But locally, let me talk. Let me speak locally on the reason why that we think social degradation is affecting the younger populace so high as opposed to previous years. Because don't let me get twisted. There's always violence, there's always waywardness, there's always rebellion. Them things will never stop happening. but we are noticing more and more that social degradation is happening, and it's happening from a younger age that never really was as highlighted as it is now. So Kita, talk to the people then.
But the question is, would you consider that social degradation? Because I mean, this, as you said just now, this has been happening for years, and
Right.
it's not just but I find that things are more televised or things are more broadcasted in the open. Things are
Mm-hmm.
more accessible too. So things that might have been happening all along back in my day or your day or Janelle's
Uh-huh.
day
Uh-huh.
are now being more brought to the open for most people in society to realize. Fighting ain't saying that no happen. You understand?
Yeah.
Um, like these things that again always school children in the 13-year-old, 14-year-old bracket, even the same case we were talking about in the 15-year-old bracket. I experienced being 15, and I know people before me that have talked about being at that age and seeing what their reality was like in certain aspects of life. Things have been happening. These things have been happening for a long time. This is you understand? So I can't say that might necessarily jump to social dimension. I just think that things are a little bit more televised than they were before, and we are being brought to the open as something that happens that would instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Before you would have had to hear this through a tale from a friend, or you would hear this 2 years later. Back in the day that this year happened, blah blah blah. You would hear that story, or if you were not there, you would not know about it. And this
Mm-hmm.
is really violence
Oh,
and
wow.
disrespect and these are different things. Like for
Uh-huh.
instance, I see like a meme, not a meme, but a video of a teacher fighting with a student in the class, and it was like a big debate on social media, and everybody was like, "This is disrespectful." This happened years ago, but because there was a video clip, it felt as though it happened right now. Everybody
Yeah.
had a whole thing on that. When I was in school, when I was in Terraform, a whole student in my class had a fight with a teacher, and it wasn't. It was probably even worse than that video.
Mm-hmm.
But what we had back then, a Nokia 1100, kind of phone, we didn't have a phone to has any significance to keep that or make that issue. Nobody wasn't there to record it. And it was
Mm-hmm.
probably worse than that situation. It meant a lot worse than what happened in that class. And, things were dealt with. You didn't hear about it. So you didn't have to call up on a calling program and discuss it or anything like that because
Uh-huh.
people understand because there wasn't any way to push that to the media. So I just think that things were a little bit more televised and broadcasted, so that gives you the impact that things are significantly worse than what they were back then.
Uh-huh.
What they still significantly remain the same.
So what do you
But
think should be the solution for
they,
something like that?
but
Because uh-huh.
Chad, but
Uh-huh.
I have a totally different view of that, so I don't want to move away from what he's saying.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Because for
Well, go
me,
ahead.
when we look at social degradation, if you look at it particularly, it is about the influence of outside sources or of subcultures from the outside that is impacting heavily on how things are in society now.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you do have
Mm-hmm.
cases of things happening before, but when you have the pillars of your society being degraded now, that is now in our current day context.
But what do you mean by pillars?
Your exact pardon?
What do you mean by the pillars of society? That's the question.
The pillars, what morality, values,
Morality and
etc.
okay.
Right. What you are seeing is an actual direct cause of social degradation in society, meaning the impact of social media and what's out there. Because when in looking at, if we go further, I'm not going to get into that yet, but when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to children directly, the impact is social media on them. But when those same cases that you would have cited just now, you would have had one-off situations. Yes, in before I went into the same, we went to the same school. My mother
Mm-hmm.
didn't even want me to go to that school because a girl was killed
Yeah.
at the school. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so yes, we do have cases of these things happening, but generally, no, you have a totally different culture now where more students, more children, more younger persons think it is okay to be disrespectful, to be however, because they're speaking their mind, they have their own opinion and stuff like that. And that's a complete different thing to what we were experiencing in society in the 90s, the 80s, the 50s, or whatever. So
Uh-huh.
when you look at, if you look at degradation of society, when you have that outside influence now impacting and changing what you're accustomed to. So in one hand, what you were saying, yes, we have it now is all being broadcast. It is out there is in your face, but it is other things are in their faces to make it okay for them to do these things or behave how they are. Because yes, we saw that one case, but that one case is of many cases. And you have one situation at school. I didn't have such a situation when I was at school. You know what I mean? So, but now is a lot of that happening. That one case was shown to us, but a lot of it happening now because the children is a different mindset now because of the influence from the outside. And so you could go on
Right.
and ask Chad what you're
Well,
asking.
well, yeah, I can get around to that part, but this is my thing. Yes, granted, to Keita's point, we had violence in schools, we had violence from young because of many reasons. It could be from the home settings, it could be from the fact that the boys upon the block, it could be from the girls being on the block, it could be because they're just wayward children. It doesn't always have to be an outside influence affecting an individual to become wayward to society. So you are right. Violence has occurred from the beginning of time till this day. However, I do believe that we have an obligation to start highlighting these situations and start fixing them, because when something is so prevalent that it is everywhere, it coming at you from all different directions, it is a problem that needs to be solved. So yes, where I can agree with you is that it has been going on, maybe because of social media and the repetitive nature of it, where that I could have a video filmed in 2015 and then that lived for 6 years and then they bring it back in 2021 and it looks like a brand new issue. It still exists. So you have to deal with the problem that is presenting itself, which means that we have to recognize that, all right, we gotta get to the children a lot younger before they get to these stages where that they feel the need to, follow peer pressure, follow friends, do this, do that. So and Janelle made two good points that I actually had written down here, where we were speaking about what is missing in terms of the validity of social degradation, where we go point the finger, where we have to deal with the issues, because I believe respect is a very big part that's missing. The older heads, meaning the people that came before us, would say, oh, the strength from God and the missing church. And for me, I personally believe that respect is what is missing. There's a fear factor attached to respect, because when you respect somebody, you either fear or admire them or both. So if you have a person that you look up to, you admire, or you fear this individual, you're going to give them respect. Nowadays, what is the problem, or one of the root problems? Janelle also mentioned this: the fact that children are hearing constantly in their mind the rights of a child, the ability to express self without
Correct.
being fearful that somebody gonna tell you,
Before
oh, that's
judgment.
foolish.
Yeah.
That in itself, even though it's great, because we have children who will be victims of abuse and different forms of abuse,
Yeah.
we still got to remember that there's always the other side that could be detrimental to the
Yeah,
fact that
it's great,
children
but
want to
but
speak out.
the thing about that,
Because
the thing about that is that it's great, but there's a thin line between speaking
right,
out and not speaking. You
right,
understand? So they've got a thin line between speaking a little and abusing your power of the mouth. You
and that's
understand?
it.
So, like we built a society where we say, well, everybody should speak out and talk more often and feel free to express yourself.
And everybody
But
has a
then
right to an opinion.
yeah, but then when it goes too far, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, but I was told to speak out. I was told to speak on my. I was told to speak on my too."
Mhm.
There's still no. So, what we do that? We diminishing certain aspects of the term respect, because you're respecting other people's opinions when you speak out sometimes, or sometimes when you go over what you're seeing, it is not very fond to the person that you're speaking to. Like it's
Uh,
borderline harsh. It's not or too harsh. And it's like you
okay.
don't care because you're trained not to care about what you say, just speak how you feel. And that can't be the way. I understand where you're coming from, because yes,
Mhm.
you all forcing to say go to church and all this nice stuff, and we straying too far from this and we straying too far from that. But it got to be more than that. It got to be more than just respect. There's probably a whole quarter of things that we straying away from that cause us to go down this trajectory.
All right. I still sticking to the fact that under normal circumstances, I believe that everything has a foundation or a basis that everybody could agree on. So yes, I do take your point that respect is all relative, just like how being wealthy is relative, being happy is relative. All of those things are up to the individual or persons within that conversation. But for me, there is a very known basis or foundation for respect. And I think that is where people have to define what is that basis or what is that foundation.
What does respect mean to you?
Yes, yeah.
Right. So obviously, respect is if you have an issue with whatever, you come to the relevant individual, you have that conversation, and then you take the time to be heard, then you gotta take the time to listen. That's how exchange works. So I mean, I could go into a whole bunch of things, but I believe that respect, and especially this respect for elders too. We know that we could talk about this back and forth. Where yet again, you respect your elders, but the elders don't respect we. That I don't want to go into all of that. I just feel as if respect is what is missing, because once upon a time you would look upon an individual who's maybe 50 years old or whatever, and you would say, you know what, let me listen to this individual who has maybe twice my age and experience. Let me see if I could learn something from this person. Nowadays you got people that are very young, inexperienced, and as the old people said, the piss now starting to froth. They may know nothing about life, but they want to go toe to toe with somebody who is obviously raised leaps and bounds ahead of them. And I think that is where I'm speaking about respect, that they're just not taking the time to understand. Yes, I may have an opinion. Yes, I think that I am smart for my age at 22, 23, 25, 19, whatever. But I still got to be able to learn. And I think that is the problem. We have too many people out here that because you can go and do little book work or you have an opinion, all of a sudden they don't need to have respect for people who came before them and their opinions. Because I just gotta say my piece and that's the end. And the boy can't tell me that I'm wrong. That's wrong. And that's where the problem is coming and stemming from. Tell me.
I tell you the guy, Keita, right? But I do agree with you. I find that it's like that entitlement, you have your opinion, and that's what it is, and nobody can tell you otherwise or anything like that. And
foolishness.
And that in itself is saying to us that something is not right. Where are we going wrong? Yes, we want that every generation to follow is in a better position. And his history would say that it whatever your current life is always better. There is something better than what went before because of the advancements and the changing. But society is changing so rapidly, right? That these children don't even recognize themselves. They don't even know themselves. So it's like this entitlement thing.
Yeah.
We don't recognize them, we creating beasts, and then we be encouraging the beasts, and then we vex with the beasts that we creating. And then the first children know is like, with this whole you got me like this here because you let me get rid of whatever, and then they themselves don't even know how to pull back as well. So it's like this. Where do we go? Where did we go wrong?
No, that's what the ball. Where was the ball go?
That is a good question. I really think it stems from the capitalist way of doing things. It is all about no. So it was no for so the millennials, and then you got it. You know how it is. We was out with generational differences and whatever. The baby boomers, because they changed the face of the game compared to the ones before them. They work hard and they start to where you really start to make money and realize, yeah, life could be better for my children. And then I had the Generation X ones, and they were like, okay, put them as be the ones who would be very like laid back and thing. But the millennials now is this is my life right now, and as I see it right now, it has to be this way. So then now this next generation that coming is even more in very much the now. So nobody taught each generation how to handle and manage the changes that were coming properly or manage them well, and still be able to identify yourself, your emotional stuff. Because let me tell you, right, stemming from the baby boomers right now, that's when mental health issues start to really crop up, because you always have people in society who, you like it's got the people who's gonna say mental or whatever. You always would have had that. But when it comes to actually the mental health issues now, where you're not able to manage yourself, dealing with all the changes happening, what do you think happening to these little people here? And that's why their only way out there, a lot of them see is suicide, killing one another, and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That's
And that's another thing. There's nothing that's keeping them grounded. There's no faith in the system. They no faith in the parents. They no faith in the friends. Like, because they're not getting anything right now. So I feel like we have to. I don't like the pointing fingers, but as you said, Kita, and leading from what Chad was saying, we did drop the ball very, very heavy. And if we don't take a grip of it, then we're going to continue spiraling out of control. And I feel as though our society is still spiraling out of control.
Well, yeah, we dropped the ball. It had to be dropped somewhere. And everybody like to blame it on social media, but it's way more than social media. It's way more than seeing posts or something happening on the phone. It's obviously a lifestyle. And you come up in this household, you see certain things, and you are a product of your environment. So certain things will continue to happen. It is not easy to break habits. It is very difficult to break habits. It's got to go through a lot. But my thing is, we could stand here and talk about it, but the other voices be heard. Like, what can be done to make a difference on where we are right now? What can we do differently to make society different? Because change is going to happen whether we like it or not. This is something totally. This is not easy fix. Like, this is like changing a whole lifestyle of a generation going forward. This is like, we got to put towards the to be parents and how they're going to bring up their children, or the young parents and how they're raising their children right now, and so on. Because there's a lot more than that. And it's not that all hope is lost for the existing children right now there that are going through this right now, because you're have to be able to change it.
You see, you don't know. You say you're not about blaming social media or whatever, right?
No, I'm saying not solely.
Right. You can't. You're not to blame social media, because it's the same thing with people who have issues with guns. Guns don't kill people. People kill people, right? Social media is not the problem. It's how we use social media. It's how parents then are not equipping themselves and their children, and how best to use social media. And I know that and I know that Chad, in terms of what we were talking about, I know Chad didn't want to talk about this here heavy. That's what he was saying. I wanted to think about it later. But what is it that parents can do? Because I got a whole lot of things here. What parents can do to help reduce the impact of the social media on the youth's well-being? Because when you look at the social degradation in society, it is really that void of being a well-rounded individual, mental, physical, emotional, etc. And then that what leads to the increase in criminal activities, the increase in violence, and increase in mental health issues, and not being able to deal with it or whatever. And a lot of it stems from the changes in society based on what's happening outside, based on technology, and based on the same set social media. It's not blaming social media. You just need to know how to use these advancements in society to benefit you, and not to tear you down, or not to corrupt the society in the direction of where we want society to go.
All right. Well, this is where again yes or no, right? You're asking the question about what can we do as parents, right, or adults, navigating the way for these youngsters. Now,
It's also
remember,
more the parents, maybe even a community. No,
but that's where the game go down.
yeah,
Because that's another thing that is a part of the social degradation. We are adopting outside influences for ways of life. Where that we building homes in particular areas. We don't know our neighbors. We don't um get to know them. We don't hang out with nobody because it's like, you know what? I want to be up in the boy business. I want to boy up in mine. So I sleep in
Yeah.
my corner. You don't even know who live next door to you. You don't know. So these tightly knit communities are disappearing from the landscape of Barbados and we becoming more and more Americanized and we failing miserably at the things that we used to get through real good. When Janelle, little girl, grow up and become a young girl, and she walk in the road and she doing any foolishness, Janelle just don't see your daughter. She know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
No, nobody don't know who Janelle daughter
Those
belong to.
two.
They don't know what she name, where she going, nothing so. Yet
And
again,
then they're afraid to say something.
right. And then yet again, yet again, it always comes down to the individually speaking about because then the godparents as we up in arms, not my child. You want to see my child doing nothing and all of that. So when you say A, you gotta say B. But let me say this. We have to understand that children are a blank canvas. A child cannot raise itself. So whatever we do impacts that child initially. It influences them. It helps them to understand how the world may work. Or you might be out here, so clothing your child's vision to understand how the world is truly work. Because there are parents out here that sheltering the children because I love my baby so much. I don't want them. I want preserve innocence, all that stuff. But then when they got out into the real world, the men shit already. The men ready for nothing. They can't walk into a bank and know how an ATM does work. They don't know how to go to the supermarket and get nothing. They don't know how money does operate. So
Yeah.
these are the real life lessons that we should be training these children, especially now that technology is so high, it's so fast, it's so quick, it's so no. We should be training them in the manners that matter. And that way, they ain't got no time to be on the Instagram and they doing this. Yes, you will find little time to do your little fun things. But there are other things out here that you have to learn in order to
Yep.
be up to
That's
date
so
with
true.
what's going on. You know that a lot of children out here don't know how to fill out an application form. Let me say they wanted to start a junior savers account at the credit union. They may know how to fill out the application. They may know what their national registration number is. They may know none of these things.
Yeah, but
Because
they can memorize it.
but they
Not
can
that.
memorize, right? They can memorize you box kilo and all that is. So
I'm pretty sure I'm not that, but okay.
yeah, that's pretty much not it because I've not seen the video. I can all right, let me go. So I am saying this. Children are blank canvases that have to be painted upon, impressed upon, and they are looking for guidance. They are constantly looking for, all right, let me see what I could do here. Let me see what I could get away with. So that's where I got lean on the parents a little more so because you can't be jerking a tablet in front of the child because you don't want to sit down and carry on conversation and find out what's going on with each other. Oh, how was your day today? Good. Okay. I'm done. You are forcing the child to talk, express themselves, nothing so all that's that time. It is just easier to park them in front of the TV and you'll be like, all right, whew, celebrate
Yeah,
here, boy. So
that was so a lot of parents was when the curfew and the COVID really started kicking in.
right.
Everybody was like tablets and this and that.
Mhm.
But I got to topic on children and we thrill a lot of children and we on this topic of children, but I know we could touch more than just children and
You
relate
remember
that
that
we
ad back in the day,
children
Keita? Well, you know, I use a man that's bring out a lot of old school things. You remember the ad on TV where they used to say TV and homework don't mix? You remember that old ad back in the day? Give them all. I can remember the jingle. Give
Well,
them
I
all
miss
your
me
love.
though. My mother's always tell me about that for true, Chad.
And the man
Which
said
is
there'll
like,
be
you.
time. Yeah, and the man would say there'll be time for TV later. That was coming
Yeah.
into
Not
our
for me
era
though.
where our
not for
TV
me.
where TV
I
was
got my bed.
don't forget that TV was a point in time that it used to shut off by a certain time. Now you got 24-hour things. So
Well, TV
so
was the first version.
parents really and truly gotta recognize that it is a different animal now to be a parent. And you have to put in that work to really and truly keep your children on the straight and narrow. Because it ain't as easy once upon a time with all these devices and instantaneous paraphernalia to get here, there, and everywhere. But
Agreed.
continue, Kita. You was talking about something there.
No,
Yeah,
no.
big up, John.
Yeah, I was. Well, good night to everybody in chat for sure. Hit the like button as you come in, so you know what I mean. Touch everything.
Yeah.
But no, I was saying that
Later.
we was talking about children for a while. And, this topic could go on forever and ever. But I was
Right.
wondering what other topics you had on the table outside the children as it pertains to social degradation.
Well, I don't know if Janelle have anything, but I got something here to say.
Well, I'm pretty sure
You have
Janelle.
something to say?
Yeah, about
I'm pretty sure
about
Janelle. I'm pretty sure Janelle has something.
yeah, well, all right. Because I start with the children because I remember last week, Janelle was talking about the children aspect. So that's why I told her,
Right.
let me start there because I
Yes.
know that could cascade into numerous conversations.
Other things?
Right. So go ahead, Janelle. I can keep my thing for last.
No, I want to hear what you say.
Well,
I want to hear what you have to say because I do want to finish up that whole the children thing, and because I think that the parents do have a heavy influence on children. They should, as where it should begin, and knowing that the schools end up having to do a lot. I just want to give some suggestions of what parents can do though when it comes to the children and the technology and helping them, because technology does affect their self-esteem, the social media, etc. And because I am immersed in it, I get that. I see the other side, all right, of how impactful it is. All right. So you want to engage with your children on the things that they like when it comes to the same social media. You want to talk to them about the fact that whatever they put out there can be out there forever until you are creating your you've got your carbon footprint, but you're creating that footprint on that digital footprint really. And you want to be able you want to learn, you want to teach your children to protect themselves and protect their family circle, right? So don't put all that information out there. Everybody ain't gonna know going on in your family. Everybody ain't gonna know what happening with you. Who is to know then would be the ones who can help you in some way. But you want to be able to talk to your children about these things, these cyberbullying and stuff like that, because not that they are being bullied, then could be bullies too, and they not even notice it. I here was watching a series about type and I realized that there are people who the things that came up in a picture made me think about life, right? That people will be narcissistic and stuff like that, but they don't know that they are. That was just on the way. So the children will not even recognize that they're being a bully, right, to others and the impact they are having on others, because they might say something and not think anything but it's going back to the same thing about the entitlement. This is my mouth. You can't tell me about the sick of my mouth, right? So I did want to close off on that just to offer some solutions to help us with the navigating so that you can still use the things the right way. All right.
right.
But I want to hear what y'all gonna say because child.
But
bring out
before
the
you get
things
into
in
that
my-
there, so before that there, so you don't know you got big up the sponsors of the episode for
Crap. All the time pass.
Let me get a big up the Trainer Scott's Barber Studio. Andrew, the men need you like never before. The men need you. So hopefully, you don't know what's going on. Can we going cross Friday? We going cross tomorrow or what?
I ain't hear about Andrew yet, so he will confirm.
All right. Well, we can confirm that there. So big up Andrew. Anyway, it's big up Trainer Scott's. We also got big up Barely Sober. Yeah, well, we bringing up Barely Sober Entertainment. It looking like I think I heard something about Miami Carnival gonna be on this year, so that means that we're gonna be doing something a little warm-up session for the people who will be able to travel. I hope Janelle go and get her job so that she could travel as well.
Wow, we got to try it.
We got big up C-Bell. We got big up C-Bell. The menstrual cups, ladies, order up, get involved in what's going on. We got the solutions for you, ladies. And also, I'm missing somebody. It's not
Allery,
no.
for that.
No, but
But
then
no, we
that's
powered by Allery. We
Oh, I thought you
powered by
were.
Allery.
Nah, we can't forget Allery. We done big them up before the beginning. So it made me look bad to not remember the last person, but in the boy else that because I thinking about the massage therapy. But yeah. So anyhow, what I can get into here so though, right, is whenever a person or a group of persons start to have like a very high sounding of voice or voices for rights, it's almost certain that it has become part of the problem, of an existing issue. So I can say, for example, everything to do with what's the correct term? I gotta try to be politically correct. I try to remember what's the term now. All right. The community that dealing with different identities and stuff. Can't remember what I was doing. So this is my thing. You are fighting for making people aware of what you deal with, what you go through on a daily basis. Fine. But then when said people have a difference of opinion, yet again, it does not stop you financially. It does not physically attack. It's not a physical attack. It's just like you are saying, Janelle, I like mayonnaise, and Janelle says, oh, I actually hate mayonnaise. I don't like it at all. All of a sudden, no, I attacking Janelle because her opinion differs to mine.
Mm-hmm.
This is becoming a part of the social degradation because I am noticing that whenever people disagree with a movement, all of a sudden those people are considered part of the problem. And I personally, Chad, Ezekiel, Jebediah Harewood, have a problem with that. I fundamentally got a problem with that. And I've highlighted it on more than one occasion on this podcast before. Where I am noticing that because of difference of opinion, you getting castrated, you getting dragged through the media, you being cancelled, you being all of these things. I got a serious problem with that, and I astutely believe that is a part of social degradation because you are putting so much power in the hands of one or more than one group of people that they are now becoming the new perpetrators of, oh, you can't say this, you shouldn't say that, and if you say this, you are that, and that's where my beef is coming. There has to be a middle ground where that you can say, you know what, Janelle, you don't like mayonnaise, not a problem. You're still a good person. You're still okay to hang around. But I respect your point of view. I believe that that's a social issue that is degrading society because now people can't express differences of opinion without fear, right? Without fear of being cancelled or ostracized and all that stuff. So the same thing that you're fighting against, the same thing you're fighting against, you perpetrating. So talk to me.
Yeah. Because that's the world we live in now.
My Wi-Fi giving problem. Listen, man, I done with one of this Wi-Fi thing. I don't make Wi-Fi.
But it is what it is, though. Yes, see the response?
Yeah.
Now you get it from Liquidation Center.
Yeah, of course, ain't don't feel. You're right.
Love it. Right. Yes, Kita. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but we is the world we live in now that everybody has an opinion, and your opinion got to be right because you said so. Two things can't coexist in 2021 or 2020 or 2022. Two things cannot coexist. You can't like pizza with pineapples on it, or you can't like pizza with without pineapple.
It
has to be one way or the other, and if yours is not the way that the person, whoever is that's saying it, is not their way, then your way is not the right way.
People don't have the soft skills or the interaction skills right now to actually not even necessarily debate because the two things can still be right at the same time, but people don't have the skills to actually have a decent conversation whilst acknowledging each other's point and moving forward. Because there's no way that people are going to agree on every single thing in this world. And there's no way that whilst you might not agree with somebody, that doesn't necessarily mean they're wrong, or it is a situation where you got to carry to a point where you are high words, or you might stop talking to the person, or people do things thick skin and thin skin. Like it's a vast difference. They got you going to this person, then they got the person that is so sensitive now. And the sensitive people is like, I ain't saying that wrong being sensitive, but the people that super sensitive is go on this tangent. Like you tell them the slightest thing and that tip them off, and they're having a bad day, and they got to change or status report, they're having a bad day, and then this guy they know they're and everybody gotta know that the upset, and it's just like, all right, because you don't agree with something I say, it make you this upset that you got to do all this. Really?
That's
Nah.
their way. That's their coping mechanism. But yeah, though people too touchy. They too touch us. But my mother always used to tell me about that you too thin skin. But that's in our in the household, so they would know what buttons to push and stuff like that, right? But generally, when you come to people, how I was raised is that the understanding is that we are not all the same. And as I tell my son all the time, and they would tell my daughter till I expire, and they would tell you guys now that it takes all types to make up this world. You now have to decide who you will be in it. Right? You have to decide. You can't decide who the other body can be. And as I tell my best friend, they always tell people we are too quick to look for ourselves in others. So if we don't see ourselves in others, we get very upset when we don't get back whatever it is that we want to hear from them. That is the fundamental thing. So then when it comes to person's opinions, may it be small or big, we get real touches with it because it's like, but that what I want to hear. I want to hear what I want to hear. But you're the only body who live in this world, oh. I remember somebody was 20 years ago, the world don't revolve around you. You're not the center of it. You may be center of your own world. You may be center of your own world, but when it comes to the world ain't revolving around you. Society does not get that. People don't get that. The world don't revolve around you. The world does not revolve around you. And that is why everything now, because of the same social media, everything all in your face. And if you realize that things don't revolve around you, say, oh my god, like what you can do? Then that's what's be wrong with people.
Is it injustice because they revolve around you?
Yes. And then you go on and say injustice is not going down because if somebody put the street corner, take out your money and you vex with that body bolted, you ain't waiting for no reasoning or nothing because you think that that body can't do you nothing and you're going to take my heart into your own hand. This is my thing. That's really the crux of the matter is that how we are, our makeup now, how we are thinking is what's impacting so heavily on how people in society are treating each other. We don't respect. Back to square one, what Chad was saying in the beginning. We don't respect each other. We do not because we think the world revolves around us.
We just tolerate one another, but we don't respect. I don't think they got a level of respect. And I think you are absolutely correct because being self-centered is a disease. And the more that people enable it, the more you can get on like you are the shit. You are the shit. I am the shit. I am self-centered. Everything revolves around me. And before you know about in the day, you would have nipped down the bud and you would tell the person or put the person in the place or what's not and tell them that you can't be getting on so. But we grew up in a society know that we ain't supposed to speak to people like that or treat them rough or get people reality checks. And that's what we are right now. We can't have reality checks anymore. We can't tell people how bad they getting on or that often them our voice or constructive criticism because you get destroyed.
You know what it's telling you, Nita? You do you and I will do me. That's what people look and tell you. You do you and I will do me. Huh? Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, the people ain't trying to learn nothing anymore. Everybody know everything, and we ain't trying to bounce ideas and opinions off of one another so that we can all learn from each other. Nobody ain't want to learn anymore. I just want to be the teacher, and I want to constantly be right. That's the next thing. I want to be right all the time. Nobody don't want to learn anymore. and that's what is another part
Not
of
only
the
that, you want to
social
be right all the
degradation.
time. Not only that, you want to be right all the time. You want to point out when people are wrong and embarrass them.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
That's what it is.
yes.
You want to point out when people are wrong and embarrass them and carry it to
Right.
another level. But you cannot be right all the time, and you cannot know everything. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to empathize or sympathize with anyone. They just want to be in the commanding position all the time. I know everything. You can't know everything. It's impossible to know everything. But
And even when you know everything, you still don't know everything.
how you know that you know everything?
That's the thing. Because you know everything.
Exactly. But if you didn't know everything, you would know that you didn't know everything.
Jeez, on boy. That one deep, yeah.
Exactly. That deep,
Understand?
right?
That's so
Lyrics.
deep, big man. You
You know,
little Tell Cole give me a show, cause we dig deeper than he. Cole gonna come and support this podcast here, man.
Coke dig this deeper than that.
Yeah.
Deep.
Yeah.
He's good deeper than he. But yeah, Janelle, there was anything that you wanted to add to that bring up, or you wanted to close on a solution basis because we soon run out of time now.
Yeah, boy. Imagine all they saying. Listen, I had no idea. We were so engrossed in the conversation, right? I did not realize that all this time had passed already. No, like Upinsideyuh is definitely the best place to be on a Thursday night. I cannot say it. Like the days I have been having, the day running into night and Kita and chat, and we are all running behind the clock, right? But then when we come here on Thursdays from 8 to 9, it's like, shh.
Different energy, boy.
Yeah, boy. Yeah,
Completely.
you know, start with like,
Completely.
love it.
Completely
But yeah,
different.
definitely always looking for solutions. That's one thing about Upinsideyuh that I respect from the beginning. The conversations are not just centered around focusing on the problems, but what is that? Where have we gone wrong? What is it that we can do going forward? That's how it should always be. Do you and it? Listen, the people
Yeah,
here
so that's
will be my comments, right? But definitely when it comes to solutions, going one key to that one.
No, just making a joke that it could be National Masturbation Month. You do you and you me.
Yeah. You do me. Yeah, you do you. Yeah.
They got a month for that.
Yeah,
Listen, they got a month for everything.
They got a month for everything.
You're telling me. You're
They got
telling
a
me.
dip for everything.
They got a month for if you to open you ready first before you open your left leg. They got a month for that.
Kita.
They're going to specify that of every day of the year for something. You can literally Google something,
and there's a day. Like there's, I definitely know there's National Left Handers Day. That's in August. I think August 16th or something. But close to my best friend's anniversary. Huh?
They're going no socks day, annual no socks day. They're going day for everything.
Yeah, they got there for everything. Like, chat is not amused. But back to solutions though, right? We definitely want to be able to teach persons these soft skills. Chat was speaking about the fact that our children don't know how to do a lot of things, and we can't leave it up that the parents can teach them. It got to come from somewhere. They ain't going to church no more. I don't even take mine to church, so we do definitely get a need for the schools to also take that mantle. And then I know that some of the issues come with how the government, like how governments, not just our governments alone, but how they speak to persons in society. It is as though, that we have to work on not being only authoritative, or you telling people this is what you are to do. But you need to be able to listen to everybody, value others' opinions. And in order for that to happen, you got to actually teach people how to value somebody else's opinion. Because I love pineapple, and I will order a piece of pineapple, and my sister will sit and pick every last pineapple off of the pizza because she doesn't like it. But what compromise? No, after looking back at that point, I could have just ordered the pizza half with pineapple and half without. We gotta be able to teach ourselves. I know that you don't wake up just to taste it. Yeah, boy. More for me. Yes, I'm a pineapple person. But yes.
But you see that
leave it for granted. Huh?
You see that in the song, you would just negate one problem quickly because there's like one person like pineapple, one person doesn't pineapple. Y'all could still coexist if you have a pineapple with a piece of which is cut in half, the one half pineapple, the one half is full. Problem solved. Nobody
Yes.
more than that person, nobody more equal than that. It's just all the same. Everything is the same.
Yes.
You don't need to have an argument. We can coexist. I met my jokes with people with pineapple and no pineapple and they're jokes and only jokes, but I'm
Jokes.
not gonna form an opinion on a person because they don't like something that I don't like. You understand? Or good. But
That now remind me of the conversation that we had with Gizbo when he mommy was ordering a pizza. Yeah, that one was saying that was one that's hilarious.
I missed it.
yo, really don't want to
Yeah, we were gonna tell you that one off.
Yeah, I have watched it, but I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah,
But we do have to be able to. So if you realize, and that's something that I am learning now as well. If you realize that something is missing within your family, your workplace, your community, etc., we have to start sitting back and saying it can work itself out, or that ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't his mother, I ain't his father. That above my pay grade. We gotta change the narrative now, and then work on making these small changes with ourselves. And that will also it won't change overall in the workplace or whatever, in the family, in the school, the same time. But as time goes on, it becomes infectious to you. With then more people would then start to realize, okay, well, there's a better way to do it. And then also taking advantage of the teachable moments. So just like that whole thing with these soft skills, when you realize certain things happening, we gotta speak up. And not speak up to tear down, but speak up to encourage, to say, okay, there is another way. Some people might cuss you. Huh?
No, I say encourage and educate.
Yes, and educate. But it gotta be on us. And you know, like child is talking about that when it comes to like media and thing like that. It don't have to be no one man to do it. You could step up and start doing things on your own. It ain't gonna be no one man. Sorry, you don't have to wait for no one man to do it. You can start making those changes on your own, right? There's something I wanted to mention. I know Richard was going to know me out of time, but I wanted to talk about changing rules in society, or what's acceptable, not acceptable, and not that I want to talk about the hair thing again. But just to say that we are our own demise because we are not accepting ourselves, and that's why we end up not having all those disagreements with others because we don't like our image, right? And when Chad was speaking earlier, it reminded me of when you think with the children, it reminded me of the whole thing with the hair, right? That we can make those changes, but we are choosing not to. We are choosing not to. But anyways, I don't want to digress too much because we ran out of time. And
that's a very good topic that you actually brought up with the whole hair thing, because that's saying that we obviously went through on multiple episodes, but it never gets old because it's always an issue with the maintenance of children and their hair, the two-faced and the double standards of society when it comes to hair, especially when it comes to Black people, and how we carry ourselves and what is acceptable from what is not acceptable for us. Because I can guarantee no other race has the issues that we have amongst ourselves, and especially when it comes to things small here.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
But we already know where you stand in that regard.
Yeah, we know you. You're a rebel.
As far as I concerned, I don't even give the conversations about what we naturally grow from our scalp no time of day, because you know what? It's just natural. It is a part of us. It happens. Get over it. You don't like my hair? Come and tell me saying so I could tell you about something. Done talk.
It's so always ready for the people.
I think that
we really have to.
Yes. We don't have to get to the point where we got somebody to tell us something for us to tell them about saying it should. You know what is understood? It shouldn't have to be explained. And we should have to get to the point where we have to respond to somebody because they should know better to not even touch kids. So don't tell me.
Right, but the fact that they do feel safe the fact that they still feel safe to come to us and say that, whether it is somebody who looks like us or somebody who's of a different ethnic group, you just gotta dismiss them. Don't even make it a prolonged conversation. Just dismiss them quickly, because you ain't gonna feel comfortable enough to come to me to tell me saying about my hair that I grown up my head. Hour, you gone donkey hair or you hair flan or whatever. You can't come and tell me that about the fact that I actually growing a full head of hair on my head that all I gotta do is try to wash it every now and again to make it smell decent. You can't tell me that about my hair. Nobody can tell me that about my hair. Nobody can tell me nothing about my hair.
The people will disagree, but that's the whole point of it, is that when we start to accept ourselves, value ourselves, respect ourselves, see who we are, and be honest with ourselves about who we really are, that's where the change can start to come in how we are in society, how we treat each other. That and yes, I as I was saying, I don't want to digress, but I see that our image of ourselves is what is leading and contributing to the degradation of society. We don't love ourselves. We do not embrace ourselves. We let the other cultures come and impact on us and say this is how you should be and how you should not be. And then we don't like each other's opinions because of that. That's where that's and they start handing it off. So, but my final words
I'm neither here or there about it. So I did there
about the hair.
Yeah. So what I did there. Because at the same time,
you did there.
at the same time, well, I understand everybody's point. I just think that as we speak about it more, and as other people speak about it, as we plant this seed in people's minds that black hair is black hair and black hair don't care, that it will become the norm to the point where we talk about it and it becomes the norm, and nobody else comes to that extent to come and speak about it. It has to get there at some point. It's not going to just get there overnight, but it has to get there at some point. But at this time, I want to remind you viewers, to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media. We got a giveaway when we get to the 200th subscriber. But yeah, when we get to 200 subscribers, we can do a giveaway for sure. We can give away something special that can make you say, yo.
Yeah. Up excited for you, up excited for all of you.
Yeah, and I think next week we're supposed to be having a special guest.
Yeah, boy. Come through.
For sure.
So we can just hold on for that for the time being when we'll find out next week.
No, they can find out soon enough. You can see on the social media. So if you follow us on Instagram at Upinsideyuh or on Twitter at Upinsideyuh, that's UPINSIDEYUH. Same as here on YouTube. Just follow us on the page, and you'll see all the posts from us. You can also follow us individually. We post all the time on all social media, Instagram, WhatsApp, you name it. And you can like, share, subscribe to the channel. We're good to go from there.
Yeah. And our podcast, we also on Anchor.
So you got anything that you want to say though? Yeah. I believe that it is. We will have to ask Mr. Allery.
We don't zip on Anchor.
Yes, you saw Anchor.
Yeah, we just got the confirmation.
Yes,
yep.
we are.
Anchor.
So any parting words from you, Keita?
Yeah. Because somebody has a different opinion to you, doesn't mean that they're wrong, and it doesn't mean that you're wrong. You can both be right or you can both be wrong. Life is like that. So don't be quick to judge. Don't be quick to jump in somebody's skin. That's just how life works. Understand and like think before you just shut down somebody or give them a bad response. That's literally it for me.
Great. All right, well, I could agree with that because
for sure.
2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 0 is 3 as well. So there's more than one way to look at things or to get to the same result that you're trying to get to. For me, I want people to, I always keep preaching community outreach. I always keep preaching neighborly love. I do know, however, that everybody can't get along with everybody, and that is for numerous reasons. But we need to reestablish the connections that we had in the past because they are the ways that we used to survive a lot of different things. And that's why we are going through what we are going through now. People say where we dropped the ball, I can't remember, but let me just start working on the repairing.
Where
Let
we
me
are
forget
now.
about where it is that where we drop it, and let me start to
Here
fix
we go for now.
the pillar things that need to be fixed in our society as a whole to make us better. We just gotta start respecting one another, understanding that yes, I can talk to this individual. We can have differences of opinion, but we can walk away from it with a different point of view, whether or not you plan to put it in action. But respect one another, love one another, communicate with one another adequately. So I just want to say one more thing. The parents, please spend time with the children. We say this all the time. Spend time with your children. Talk with your children. Love on your children. Entertain your children. Whatever. Just do what is necessary. Be more hands-on. Like take away the tablet thing. Take away the TV thing and try to spend more physical time with these children. Get them out, run them out, let them run out, something. Just get them outside and get them active. And you will see a completely different attitude and personality coming through. Because when children are so busy being in the moment and enjoying the moment, they no longer have the time to be caught up on the ills that social media can bring, along with the advantages. So that's all I gotta say to the parents. Spend some time with the youth them. So with that being said, thank you for joining us on the Upinsideyuh podcast, powered by Allery
Gallery
Media
Media
Production,
Productions.
sponsored by Bell, Barely Sober Entertainment, and Trinity
Trident.
Barber Studio.
Barber Studio.
Woo-hoo.
Don't know say. Thank you so much for spending the
Thank you,
Thursday with us.
guys.
As usual, give thanks for always coming through, spending the Thursday evening with us. And you know, when as Janelle said, when it's just give you the energy to complete
For
a day.
sure,
My day
sure.
was long. It was training. It was testing. Keita the same thing. Janelle the same.
Yes, yes.
Barely met
thing.
him,
But when we
Barely make
start,
it in.
yeah, and when we start, yeah,
Just get
it's the
going.
vibe all the time. So remember, click that like button when I come in here. This ain't IG no more. When I go, click the like button. Tell when a friends forward the link to them. Let her come and like and subscribe to
For
the
sure.
channel because we got that giveaway at 200 subscribers. So the 200 subscribers, we can got a giveaway going on. Don't know say. Give thanks and praise.
All the
Peace and love
time.
all the time,
All
people.
the
And
time.
Good night,
Just back. Good night, everybody.